Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me again for the last few chapters of The Things They Carry by Tim O'Brien. What I have today is I'm going to look at a couple chapters together. This should be a very short video. I'm going to look at the chapters called Good Form and the chapters called Field Trip. All right, these are interesting pairings here because I think one leads into the other. But I also think that this is interesting because the Good Form seems to be one of those metacognitive chapters that I've been talking about, where he just sort of reflects upon his time as a writer and his crafting of stories and how stories work, war stories in particular, how they work. And then going to a time that is after the war, and he's reflecting upon it. You know, we sort of have those two types of stories, but we also have what it was like in the actual situation, the time of war. All right, and as he tells the story, and I would say as it happened, but he makes it abundantly clear that sometimes to tell the story accurately is not to tell it exactly as it happened. And that's one of the things I want to begin this particular installment with, is a statement that kind of confesses that same truth again, as he has said it not millions, that's a bit of an overstatement, but many times up until now. All right, and this is on page 171 in my version here, towards the very bottom, where he says, I want you to feel what I felt. I want you to know why story truth is truer sometimes than happening truth. All right, so there is a difference. Story truth, telling the story so you can know how he felt, and then there's the delineation of occurrences that happened, and those may not actually give you that response that he's after, to know, okay, now you get it. All right, and this is sort of a book-ending thing, because this particular chapter, Good Form, ends with his daughter asking him a question where she says, Daddy, tell the truth. Did you ever kill anybody? And I can honestly say, of course not. Or I can say honestly, yes. So he's walking this fine line. He's admitting he's walking this fine line. Like, no, I never killed anybody, but yes, I did kill somebody. We've already discussed the tale that he tells when he did kill somebody, what that looked like. Remember the star-shaped hole in the eye, and parts of the face blown off or whatever. All of those details. But we also know that he never set out to do that. That was never something where he's like, I'm going to kill this person. I'm going to like a sniper or a vengeance or whatever. He's almost like, this thing overcame me and I did what I did. So yeah, technically I killed somebody, but no, I never really, killed somebody, and both to him are true. All right, so now let's go into the next field trip, which I think is, a play on words, of course, because they're going back to the field where Kiowa was killed. And this is, he's taking his daughter who asked him this question, to survey the place where this went down. That story with Kiowa went, and he's got some memorabilia, he's got some things that he wants to take and wants to like sort of lay there, sort of like his final closure that he wants to get after Kiowa's death. All right, and there's not a whole lot I want to say here, because it's a story of him and his daughter overseas fulfilling this last thing. It's an interesting way it ends, though, and I'm not entirely sure how I would like to interpret it, and I'm almost happy just leaving this completely open. All right, this is the bottom of 178, the last sentence that begins there. It says, 50 meters up the field, one of the old farmers, so he's in the water, and he's looking up, and he sees a couple farmers in the distance, up on a hill, and he's doing his thing, and he looks up. 50 meters up the field, one of the old farmers stood watching from along the dike. The man's face was dark and solemn, As we stared at each other, neither of us moving, I felt something go shut in my heart, while something else swung open. Sort of a ending of one chapter, beginning of another chapter. Last little bit, moving down the page a little bit, he says, I pulled on my shoes, took my daughter's hand, and led her across the field toward the Jeep. Soft heat waves shimmied up out of the earth. When we reached the Jeep, Kathleen turned and glanced out at the field. That old man, she said. Is he mad at you or something? I hope not. He looks mad. No, I said. All that is finished. One door closed, another began. I never killed a man, or I killed a man. Walking a very interesting 1 foot in one situation, 1 foot in another situation, transition from one understanding to another understanding. A lot of movement going on here. And the things that he's carrying, the things that he takes with him on this little trip and leaves behind are things that help him find closure. So those things that he's no longer carrying are also things that help him find closure, which I find very fascinating. All right, so that's the simple 2 chapters I have for you this time. Thank you very much for watching, and continue reading. We're almost finished. Continue reading The Things They Carry by Tim O'Brien. A wonderful read as always. So I'm going to leave you with that. And as always, I'll say happy reading.